Allowance motion for the firearm regulations of 2024 because it's a commitment that I've made to people across the state of Western Australia that the Nationals will stand up for law-abiding firearm owners and move a motion that, if passed, would put an end to the implementation of what has been a very clumsy and clunky process of firearm regulation being introduced into Western Australia. We know that many law-abiding firearm owners are feeling that they are being victimised by their own government, and this is something that's been reflected in discussions we've had right across the state of Western Australia, from the metropolitan area to all parts of regional Western Australia. People in regional Western Australia especially have a deep understanding of the need for firearms in their community, not only for the control of pest species on their land, but also as one of their recreational pursuits and a way of ensuring that the community's health and mental health is taken care of, because for many people that activity of firearm use is their recreation. And so taking that away from them is making people feel really under threat and has been, I think, very, very poorly executed by this government and is fundamentally politically based, not based on the needs of public safety. So that's the reason we're moving the disallowance, and we'll see what the government does. It's possible that it might go to a vote. It's possible the government may just talk it out. We'll see what actually happens. But I do hope that there will be a vote at the end of the debate, and that we'll see whether or not the government is listening to the needs of Western Australia's firearm owners.
Are you confident that they are listening or not?
Sorry?
Are you confident that they're actually listening to the demands?
No, I'm confident that they're not listening, and I think that's one of the reasons that this is such an important action today, to highlight that there are many people who are trying to actually satisfy the requirements under the current Act and are finding that it's impossible to do so. I think there's a whole range of unintended consequences that we're seeing coming forward from the implementation of the Act, and they need to be understood by the Minister. He needs to take a pause on what's happening, to listen to the concerns of Western Australia's law-abiding firearm owners, and to make changes to the regulations and indeed to the laws that underpin them.
If this disallowance doesn't pass, are there also plans for the Legislative Council to put through a similar motion?
There'll be further discussions in the Legislative Council, and as we know, the government no longer has absolute control in that place, and certainly we'll be making sure that these concerns are aired in that other chamber as well, if they're unsuccessful in ensuring the disallowance today.
Given Labor have such a large majority in the House, these motion probably doesn't have much of a chance of passing. Why are you still presenting?
Because of what I've just said, that we need to honour the commitment that I've made to those people who have supported the Nationals in their seats, including my own seat of Mid-West. And I can say that for the people that I have spoken to right across Western Australia, they want someone to be airing their concerns in the Parliament. And so, if nothing else, it will provide an opportunity for their concerns to be heard. Then that is well worth the motion going forward.
The state government says that you're turning your back on community safety by trying to wind back these laws. What would you say to that?
I'd say that's bunkum. We're not trying to jeopardise community safety, but what we're not about is imposing on the community a whole range of unworkable regulations and laws, which are actually unjustifiably making people feel that they're being victimised by their own government.
Just onto another topic for our regional newsroom. The Transport Minister is out spruiking for electric buses this morning, but it will be another 10 years until they arrive in the regions. What's your reaction to that, and does the government need to ramp up its public transport provision outside of home?
So the issue of electric buses in the regions, well, I think the government would understand that people in regional Western Australia have the same rights as everybody else, and would deserve to have the same levels of service. But we see frequently with this government that simply isn't the case. So I don't think that the regions are a very high priority for the Transport Minister.
Former Prime Former Prime Minister John Howard said that the decision for the Federal Coalition to break apart was stupid. Do you think that's correct?
Look, I spoke at length about this yesterday. I think that the decision has been made by the leadership of the National Party. I'm very aware of how competent and how diligent they are in the way that they go about their work. And I'm sure that they're looking at what's best for their party. In Western Australia, the National and Liberal parties are seeking to work together, and our focus is on trying to instill within Western Australia a credible alternative government to Labor so that we can overturn Labor government in 2029. So whatever's happened at the national level is not reflective of the situation here in Western Australia, where the parties are seeking to form a stronger working relationship rather than breaking apart.
Would it be copying WA's operating model of saying an alliance instead rather than a coalition at this point?
Look, whatever you call the arrangement between the groups is it's an agreement. So the term coalition, the term alliance, they're just terms. What we have is an agreement here, what we call an alliance, and we're working together on that. But that is not a situation which is designed to define how those parties will operate at an election time. And that's something that we need to further develop so that we can understand how the parties will present at the next state election. We had an alliance in the last parliament, and towards the end of that alliance it became very, very difficult because of the fact there had not been an agreement on how to contest the election. And so we need to understand further how our two parties can work together to contest that election, because that is the mechanism for removal of the Labor government. And so it's my ambition that by the end of the year that will be nailed down and people from Western Australia will understand how the two parties will be operating in 2029, and have confidence that if we are elected in 2029, that they understand how we would form government together.
Did they have better coordination this time compared to last time? Because you said it's very disappointing the way it was not looking at the end of it.
Well, we've come through now, we're in the third term of opposition, and I am determined, and I'm sure there are others determined in the Liberal side of the party's structure as well as in the national side that I represent, then understanding that we need to make sure that we do not go into a fourth term of opposition. We need to take government in 2029. And so there has to be a change in the way things are done so that our two parties have the strongest possible chance of overturning Labor in 2029.
I quickly have a question for Jared Carmody, ABC Kalgoorlie.
Hello.
16 PCYC centres have released a statement saying that air rifles have brought joy to countless families and community members over the decades. They've made a difficult decision to axe the program because of further regulations related to parental supervision and complex reporting obligations. So all, particularly regional PCYCs, are winding up air rifle use. What's your response?
Well, this is another example of the overreach of the regulations and the legislation that we're seeing. And so I don't think there was ever any view that PCYCs offering young people the chance to participate in target shooting with air rifles was a threat to public safety. But yet we're seeing that they'll be unable to continue on with that activity. Just as we're seeing many gun clubs and ranges being shut down by a change in the regulations and the requirements for them when they've been operating safely for decades. What we're seeing is a concerted attempt by this government to undo the ability for people to own and use a firearm for no good purpose other than to provide a political point.